This is William Bragg for KCTV. We're episode 2 of the Kensington Abbott, small, medium, and large. I'm here at Riverward Trading Post here on Richmond Street in Port Richmond. This episode is actually about the business behind the front, behind the storefront, and the man that's behind the business. Here we're going to get more in tune with the inner functions of Kensington and Kensington's hierarchy and the plans that we have for Kensington as a community. As a freeholder in McPherson Square Public Library Civic Association, now is the time to be in on it. Some things are happening, integral things. So let's go inside and we'll get the show on the road. All right, as promised, I'm here inside Riverward Trading Post, and I'm here with Richie Annapuna. He's the proprietor, and Dennis Payne, his first mate. But anyhow, let's get into the interview. Mr. Annapuna,
hey,
tell us a little bit about your operation here at Riverward, some background on you and what your interests are.
Well, we're a non-profit organization doing business as Philly Riverward Trading Post, but we are the original Kensington Outreach Foundation in association with Organized Kensington. We're using this store as an engine to fund our work that we do in the community, such as any type of outreach that we do. This is how we fund it. So this way, you know, we build our own economy through the community and we give it back to the community. So in essence, if you're buying anything here, any of the purchases here are directly purchases to help the community.
So I would see that as basically a trademark or insignia of the blue collar, the builders. We that don't sit around and just wait for opportunities to come our way, but we actually take note and take interest in our environment and what resources we had to work with, and from that we make manifest, we build.
Yes.
Self-sufficient.
Self-sufficient, absolutely. Non-reliant on government.
Ask not what your government can do for you.
But what can you do for your country?
Amen.
Keyword. I say government.
Well, it goes the same way in faith. Ask not what your God can do for you, ask what you can do for your God. Ask not what your neighbor can do for you, ask what you can do for your neighbor. And ironically enough, it comes back around. No. Once I get a job through you, I might.
Plug. We are hiring. Oh, hold on.
All right, and let's cover a little bit of Dennis while we're here, if you don't mind.
What? Speak up. Ask.
Give us a description of Dennis Payne.
Witty, smart, and crazy.
Now tell us the truth.
There is no truth. I'm just me.
So, Richie, what all got you into this type of political, societal activist?
Probably my whole life I've been, in some type of activism, because I just see the right and wrong about things as just basic housing. Housing shouldn't be something that you can get because if you can or cannot afford it. It should be a human right. If you're born into this world, there should be a home for you in this day and age. Now, you're going to have proponents saying, oh, well, nobody should have to give you this or give you that and blah, blah, blah. And, okay, that is correct. But we as a people should pave the way for generations after.
Oh, in pronouncing it such as that, therein lies a stigma or a schism that I would contend with. The opportunity for people to be available to purchase these things, the opportunity for people to work to earn the income to be able to provide the sustenance to move into these things if they should so choose. As a people, we maintain the integrity of that fabric, not a handout scenario. That's like kind of like Plymouth Rock, where the governor first said we're going to put it into a kitty, and then we're just going to divide it up amongst everybody, and everybody sat on their butts and do nothing. And then almost all the pilgrims died.
What was one of the great sayings about Plymouth Rock? What was one of the great sayings about Plymouth Rock in the immediate, in the now, not in the past?
The Governor Bradford, when he saw the pilgrims were dying and saw the pilgrims were just sitting on their butt and they were basically whining out or basically laying down.
I want to come.
He said, what a man makes, a man keeps. And at that point in time, it exploded the nation into the nation we have before us now, because people had private property rights, and they had the right to expect what they earned was theirs, and people would not intrude on it.
I was speaking on the more on the terms of what was said a long time after that was said, and it was maybe in the early 2000s. It was said it was
Like
made by Denzel Washington.
It is a perspective to
I didn't
share.
land on Plymouth Rock.
It's a
Plymouth
perspective.
Rock landed on me.
Well, that's true. That which the word falls upon will be crushed. The rock falls upon will be crushed. Now, this has been the same scenario since the beginning of time, if you wish to trace the pattern. Where in every culture, just like from the Sumerian, when they came forward, a man came forward who knew all the details. They were living in wasteland. They were living in desert because they couldn't get the water into their fields. This man came forward, took around, like Joseph in the Bible. He could take an inventory of what they had to work with and put it in the water where we worked for him. They dug channels. They brought the water to themselves. They started have that which they made, they got to keep. And then the government around them, Babel, that's Babel, it's gossip and talk, who wants the authority, but they have no clue on how to get the authority. So they take it by simply spreading campaigns of gossip and chatter to turn one against the other. Well, I can't have that. Well, I can't have that. Well, they didn't give me this. Like everything's been given to these people. The only thing that's been given to everybody equally is the word.
It's life.
Yes, that's the word.
Next question.
But anyhow, how are you making out with your conversation with Prevention Point as we progress?
We're making great strides and progress with Prevention Point. They have come together with Organized Kensington, and they see that what is going on, and we did hash out the fact that it's not all Prevention Point. There's many other nonprofit organizations that come into our communities and do damage, where, you know, they may think they're helping, but as far as helping the community, they are not. And as I stated before, the people that they're helping in our community are not from our community. They are guests in our community.
Yes.
And what they're doing is taking over our communities when they should act accordingly as guests.
That would be federal
Not
expansion.
shitting and pissing on our pavements, shooting up dope in front of our children and elderly, discharging of needles on our properties, and so forth. That's what the problem is. And when these nonprofits come in thinking, and they honestly think they're helping, but they're not helping our communities.
Well,
Cut.
if you wish,
Hello. Okay, you say you're from Seattle? I think it was, what, $1 or something like that for a six-pack?
all right, Rich, I wanted to feed off that last statement you made, because I think that is a wonderful, wonderful, excellent point. And this is how we're going ahead. This is what the free board has been talking about. Algorithms and the free program. Every not-for-profit, even down to Prevention Point, all they're doing is operating on an algorithm, a schematic, that they're taught in the academia in the university. And now, coming out of school, the school desperate to get them engaged in something so they can prove that they can pay back the loan. Them desperate to engage in something to show so they're really not here other than for the photo op. That's why we don't get any jobs.
Absolutely.
However, as I injected last night in the first episode, when I was talking to the Reverend Centeno, or the Pastor Centeno, how about bringing back the jobs, blue-collar jobs, the Commonwealth jobs? That what you said was too dirty for us? I want to bring back film and manufacturing of videos, DVDs, VCRs, everything like even the typewriter, to give us practical jobs where we can own. We can ask expectations because we know we're getting up in the morning, we're making something. To be able to own it, that's a piece of the puzzle's been missing. And they spared the discipline all these years, decades, telling them what they want to get the money, to get the not-for-profit. They tell them whatever they want to hear to get the not-for-profit. Yes, I'll grant it. Yes, I'll grant it. Yes, I'll grant it.
I don't think I need permission to get up every day and make something to make money for.
No, you don't, because you already have it in you, because you've already been stirred, the water's been stirred, and you didn't lay there for 38 years, oh, they step over me. No, 38 years, you're outside on the street, and you're hungry, and you're...
I'm hustling.
Yeah, You got to keep a roof over your head. You got to keep your cable. There's a difference there. That's the nomad. That's the person that has to go from place to place. Even Dennis, when he traveled around, homeless for all those years across the country.
Not homeless.
Well,
Was never homeless.
mobile.
Still not.
Upwardly mobile.
No.
Free.
Right. Free. I live as a nomad. Okay, you know what a nomad, a true global nomad is? I go under no banners, no borders. I am a human on planet Earth.
Well, back in the day,
Where I roam is my home.
Back in the day, there was a difference between a grifter
Well, I'm not a drifter.
and a handyman.
Or a drifter.
Someone who would go from place to place, see the opportunity that
Yes.
need to be filled, and fill that, and make
Well, that's
earn their
what
keep.
original nomads were. They were the hired migration workers. That's what I basically am, a migration worker, but
For whatever
I'm born
reason, they
here.
had become orphaned or widowed, and now they're off. That is the story of our people. And we make a pilgrimage. Look, so we couldn't find it in Europe. You get to a place, just sit there, we're going to read this over you, sit there, you're saved, it's okay, just sit there. And we all sit, look at each other. No, that doesn't cut it.
Right.
Just sit there, we're going to read this over you, just sit there. That doesn't cut it. That is not Christian. That's not the pilgrimage.
Right.
That's not the faith. That's not the builder's way. We came all the way here and we established this. And that's another key point between expectations. This is established. We don't make it up as we go along. It is established. It was given. We defend it and we uphold it. Just like covenant is constitution. But that's what I'm kicking in for. Now, with your talks with Prevention Point, I'm glad to see, because the universities will be scaled down that way, and the manufacturers as well, as far as just constantly bombarding with pharmaceuticals and needles. That's not the solution.
Speaking of needles,
There's a discipline.
Whether your viewers or listeners know this or not, me and Dennis and Organized Kensington and original Kensington Average Foundation negotiated with Prevention Point to get them to immediately stop handing out needles by 100,000. Now, some people may say, hey, that's a lot. It is a lot.
God bless you.
But guess what?
Victory, yes.
This is
What
100
percentage of 100,000
out of
is a percentage out of what they actually give out? Now, I got some figures from a news clipping that I saw yesterday, Junior had a news that said they gave out last year 4.7 million needles.
This is why I
So
celebrate
100,000 needles is like nothing. It's
Yes,
a drop in
right.
the bucket.
It's a step in the right
Not even
direction.
considered a
It's
drop.
But
us
it's
moving
a
forward.
step in the
Yes.
right direction.
That's what I'm
If
talking
it's
about.
100,000 today,
Yes.
you know, and like even like Jose Benitez said to me, he said, Richie, we started with 100,000 immediately. We had the meeting with Jose Bermudez and developers in the area, and right after that meeting, Jose Benitez met with city officials and the district attorney's office and told them our concerns, meaning the community, and that's what they came back immediately with. He called me that night and he said, Rich, this is what we did immediately. We cut needles by 100,000. And, you know, I said to him immediately, well, I hope you're not expecting fanfare, because I know, listen, and I didn't say that to be cocky, because Jose's gonna do.
Right.
It is.
I said it to be real, meaning like, hey, 100,000, that sounds like a lot, but what percentage of what you give out is 100,000? That's when he came back to me and he stated, Prevention Point will work with your organization and give you a weekly report. So I'm here to tell you that we will have actual numbers and actual percentages of the progress that's
We
being
have to add into that equation, though. Here is where we thread the needle. Here's where the camel, with all the supplies, comes through a needle without a problem. Understand, it did not get this way overnight.
Of course.
President Trump said this morning about Puerto Rico. In 1996, what Biden did in signing a piece of paper, gave all the pharmaceutical jobs out, gave it away. They all left Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico became destitute, nobody was working. And China and everybody got the pharmaceutical jobs. Because of one paper, that's why I said even here in America, as our jobs were taken away, were given out, was sold out because of taxation. Then at that point in time, what came into the area to replace it What replaced that void was the drugs. And there was drug use and drug selling. And that became careers.
Just my opinion, just what I see, just what I'm comprehending about this whole situation with COVID-19. Not saying it doesn't exist. People do get sick, people do die. But that's the same for a lot of diseases.
But that's not the emphasis. The emphasis
let
is
me finish what
what's
I'm
already
saying.
built.
Right, then let me finish what I'm saying.
Okay.
I believe what's going on now with COVID-19 and this whole situation, because it is global, is the powers that be are trying to figure out what to do with us humans.
Yes.
Because here's what's going on, and this is just my opinion. You can research it if you want. Everything's becoming automated and robotics, right? What are we going to do to earn a living? Humans, I mean. What are we going to do? This is what they're dealing with right now. This is what COVID's about. That's just my opinion. Research is
that's communism. That's communism. They built up all this extra cash with all the bubbles during the 80s and the 90s to dump. They have all the free cash right now. All the extra taxes because they have slush funds all over the place. Just like post office, they have slush funds hidden here. Well, what we have to take it slow with is understanding we were omnipotent, one body. We were cultivated this way. When we lost it, somebody else got it. So now they began building their lives on it.
Of course.
And their regularity on it. So if we take it back like that, they're left. But if we bring back the film, it gives. We have all these other. If we switch back to digital analog and analog, we have all the careers we need for all the people.
It's never going to
get their
switch
foot in
back.
the door.
In order to switch back when technology fails, it will
Technology's
never
already
switch
failed.
back. No.
Technology's just around.
Not
circles.
this time.
All it is repackaging the same thing, giving you a different. You want a new button? You want a new browser? That's how they'll sell you new technology. Same old technology, they'll repackage it so you could be able to use it. That's all.
But haven't they been doing that?
Get rid of your
our
videos.
whole lives?
I'll sell. Yes.
Before technology.
50, 60, 70 years. 1923, they started to change in education to the COVID-19 is the COVID 2020. Take over the world altogether. It's not because, oh, the powers that be, that's the rich. That's all these herders, that's all these panels, that's the Siddhartha, that's the royalty. That's sitting up at the top. Oh, well, they're too dirty for it. Well, they're the caste system. Oprah's people just bringing out the caste system book to train you. Well, you know, you belong there, and you belong there, and that's where you're born, and that's where you're going to stay, and that's where you're going to die. That's not America. That is not the United States of America.
Why don't we talk about what we're doing here?
Right.
Yes, what we're doing here.
I was just going to say something about that.
What we're doing here is bringing it back. We're threading the needle. We're conscious from the inside out, not the outside in.
Right. Starting over.
By the word. Not starting over, we already have it. Dusting off, cleaning up, starting to build, putting back together, repairing, helping each other, encouraging. It isn't based on color.
And
Never was.
that's exactly what Organized Kensington is about. It's not about us. It's about we helping all nonprofits together organize the nonprofits in the area.
That's the objective of reincorporating Kensington as a conservation easement, which then makes it to Kensington Abbey. And we raise Philadelphia as the 51st state. And at which point, we get rid of all these pseudo-governors. Anybody came into the city that had money in their pocket, the mayor made them a deputy mayor. But you're a governor, you're a governor.
Right,
Egyptian way.
Right.
Next question.
That's not the way we do it. The next question is, as I said, it's right on track, but what is your feeling about algorithms? And seeing the word as alpha and omega, you can see the channeling of regional truths. You can see the channeling of charter schools and specialty training and this school and that school, and we're going to teach us here and teach that. You see that as the brothers on both sides of Jordan, even though they both worship the same God, the powers to be, the money, has them fight against each other to keep the control. That's the Babel quashing the people. We're raising above that now here in Kensington Abbey. The principle through freeholders is a collective of one, and if one doesn't understand it, we always have a brother, we have a neighbor. We have someone, a comrade in arms. We have a fellow citizen from all over the world.
A lucrative community, and it all starts with the individuals in the community.
It was built, it was given. We're just taking back our first love. Taking back our reforming education, reforming the government, and reforming the church.
Okay, but now to be focused, we are a small community organization. We are not a national, let's go fix the government organization.
Right, that's what I was saying.
We are a fix the community of
Algorithms and roots.
Yes, yes,
That's all it is.
yes.
It's all
But now you're talking about, but you got to have the big grassroots for the government. That's not even in our future
It doesn't
yet.
come from the government.
Right.
It comes from
Well,
the
we're
people.
talking right, and that's
build
where
the
you
root
got
from
to
the
start.
ground.
That's
That's
where
where
it's
we're
come
at.
from, but it don't.
Yes.
And that's what
That's what we're putting
organized.
back.
And that's what organized Kensington is going to be focusing on. We're focusing on the little people in the communities. We're not worried about the big communities.
That's where you lose it. The little people in the community, that's what stems your greed. Next thing you know,
No,
you
no,
know what,
no,
I like it
no,
just like
no,
this.
no,
And then you start your
that's not
cancellation
what
culture, you
we're
start your denomination.
No, we're not starting.
No, we're not
that.
doing
no,
that.
No.
The freeholder puts an end to all that. Under one umbrella, that's it.
Well-
Under charter of privilege, under Penn, as the Philadelphia's made neighborhoods, so all of our different people can come here and how they worship God, we will respect that. Under one God, this nation. That was it.
And as a wrap, what's your last question?
Why do you persist me so?
Because if I don't, I'm going to have to persist you so.
You draw blood from a stone, man.
I work miracles. But anyway, seriously.
This is
on a
why I
real note,
uplift your
But if
organization.
anyone is interested in volunteering in the community, please
Look us up.
contact me or Dennis or Bear. Information will be in
available.
with this video.
I have all kinds of openings.
Please
I'd
help
like
out.
for help.
It's for the community. If you're part of this community, you should be there.
Write your own check. Step in now. Step up now. This is called homestead. It's called wilderness. It's called braving the trail. It's called being out front. It's called walking before Him boldly. It's called living in the Word.
I call
Write
it
your own ticket.
reclaiming your life.
Right? Humility. Humility, yes. Respect, yes. Integrity, yes. Realism, yes. We live in reality. We're flesh and blood, but we are spirit. Flesh and blood, but we are spirit. We are one people under one God. But
God
yes,
bless.
now's the time you have to have initiative, not to sit back and have it read over you, but to listen. Don't be hearers and just hearers, not doers. But to hear and to see it, just like the panels do. That's how they segregate us to operate these different functions as a machine, and put back the heart, put back the soul, the well.
Any questions, contact us and we'll answer them for you. God bless you, Bear. Thanks.
God bless you.
right.
Oh, illegal violation.
Good rap, Rich.
Social distancing.
We be socially
Thank you.
dissident.
Yeah, social distance. Let's go and get some problems.
Cut, rap. It's in the can.
And that's this week's segment of the Kenson Abbott Small, Medium, and Large.